Hey there Blue Mages, Liam here, and welcome back to Blue Academy. Today I'm going to be talking about the prestigious Morbol mount and provide some raid readiness advice to help you succeed. The Morbol mount is a really unique mount that we can get by obtaining the True Blue achievement, which itself is earned by completing the Blue Unchained and Masked Conqueror achievements. To complete Blue Unchained and acquire the Unbound Blue title, you must complete the raids at the end of each Coil of Bahamut tier, or T5, T9, and T13. To complete Masked Conqueror and acquire the Blue Justice title, you must complete the Savage raids at the end of each Alexander tier, or A4S, A8S, and A12S. All of these must be completed with a full group of Blue Mages, synced to the contents level, with Echo silenced. This is not a trivial task, but this is why the Morbol is so dang rare. At the time of recording this, only about 1% of players have this mount according to LaLa achievements. It's likely even rarer than this, as a system like LaLa achievements is susceptible to things like selection bias. Additionally, each of the legend titles for completing ultimate difficulty content still has about 3 times as many players as those with the Blue Justice title. Admittedly, this is also an example of selection bias, as Ultimate simply has a broader appeal compared to Blue Mage content overall. If you see a Morbol mount out in the wild, count yourself lucky. If you see multiple, well, you'll probably never see multiple at a time. It's just astronomically unlikely that 2 or more Morbols will ever be in the same area. I personally have never run into multiple people on the Morbol mount at the same time. Never. Don't think I will. Anyway, currently, the only achievement-based mounts that are less common than the Morbol are the Pteranodon, the Triceratops, the Astrope, and the Centurio Tiger, all of which require an utterly inhumane amount of grinding. The Morbol just requires a lot of dedication, skill, and mental fortitude. The fights aren't easy, but if you're like me and enjoy difficult content, they are a ton of fun. I'll lay out some of my general advice here, which might make things a little bit easier, but also stay tuned for fight-specific guides for each of the Morbol raids if you're new to the content or find yourself struggling. Now on to the general advice. One thing you must do is make sure you have eye level 270 gear, which is the highest thing we can wear as a level 60 Blue Mage. It is absolutely critical that you have the highest level gear possible, as Blue Mage is extremely frail and you need as much health as you can get for surviving some of these mechanics. With the changes to Poetic Tombstone vendors in 5.3, it's even easier than before to do this. You can just buy the augmented gear directly and have a mostly full set of gear for only about 3,500 Poetics. I say mostly full because you can't have 2 augmented Shire rings, but if you complete your Blue Mage job quest, you'll have access to the Wallachie items as well. If you're a DPS player, you can probably get by without having to do too much min-maxing here. However, all things considered, spending an hour farming Alexander raids unsynced is almost nothing, so I recommend doing that anyway. If you are a tank or a healer player, I strongly recommend working towards the spell speed and determination build, as the faster cast time really helps. Another thing you should do is your job quests and the Masked Carnival. The job quests allow you to buy the Wallachie items, which themselves are eye level 270, so they're quite helpful. As for the Carnival, not only do some of the later stages really help you flex your blue muscles, but you get a lot of poetics and seals that you can use to buy the gear mentioned just a second ago. On top of this, you also unlock the raise ability Angel Whisper for completing all 30 stages. This ability has a 5-minute cooldown, so Blue Mages can only do 1 res per Blue Mage every 5 minutes. So you're doing yourself and your static a disservice if you don't get this and bring it to help out the raid. While we're talking about abilities, I do recommend checking out my core spells video as well as the role-specific video corresponding to the role you wish to play. In general, I would kind of just advise you to just finish your spellbook entirely. Yes, there are definitely some spells that are not really helpful and are functionally useless in 99% of scenarios, but there are some one-off strats that call for specific spells in several of the raid encounters, and it would be unfortunate if you showed up to raid unprepared for those. At the bare minimum, you should get the spells that I lay out in my videos, and those will help you maximize your damage while being as useful as possible in your given role. Last but not least, I would recommend joining any Blue Mage Discord servers or communities. The balance is pretty good for general questions and discussion, but I definitely would join a data center specific one for finding groups. I've put links to the ones I know of in the comments below, but if I've forgotten any, please let me know and I'll update the list. Once you join one of these discords, you should try to join or form a static for taking down these fights. Some of the fights like T5 or A4S can be down with just a party finder group, but the other ones typically require a static doing regular progression rating on the encounters in order to conquer them. I have seen people ask if anyone can quickly help with the fights, and I've also seen people put things like A8S up in Party Finder. And to be quite honest, my only reaction to that is this. That's pretty much it for the generic advice that I've got. My recommended order for completing these fights would be T5 and A4S first, followed by T9, and then finally T13, AAS, and A12S in whichever order you want, as they're a clear step above the others in terms of difficulty. Typically groups will struggle with A8S the most, but my group actually completed that fight faster than A12S, and T13 actually took us the longest. It is definitely worth mentioning that all of these encounters can be difficult and extremely frustrating at times, so try your best to not get discouraged. If you liked this video, feel free to check out these other ones. While you're at it, sting that subscribe button, share your bad breath in the comments, and stay tuned for more Blue Mage content.